Today in Conversations That Convert, we'll be talking to Jeff and Paige from McArthur Homes in Utah. Let's get started.
Welcome to Conversations That Convert. Each week, Rick teams up with industry experts to tackle practical strategies in lead generation, marketing, and sales for remodelers, home improvement companies, and custom builders. From practical tips to deep industry insights, we cover everything you need to grow a stronger, smarter business. Brought to you by Builder Lead Converter, your perfect sales assistant.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Conversations That Convert. And I am very delighted today to be joined by both Jeff and Paige from McArthur Homes in, I think we can say, Salt Lake City, Utah. Is that close enough?
Yeah, across the Wasatch Front. Yeah,
across the Wasatch Front. So these guys, as my team has been telling me, have been quote unquote killing it. So we said, all right, let's bring them in. Let's let them share their secrets about what they're doing to attract, capture, and convert high quality leads. So Jeff, I think quick introductions. You are the sales manager.
Yeah, sales and marketing manager. Yeah.
Sales and marketing manager. Yep. And Paige is officially the online concierge.
Yep.
Yeah. So Paige handles all the incoming online leads. But let's start with you, Jeff. Give me a little background on personally on yourself, and then how long you've been with McArthur Homes, and then some of your day-to-day duties.
Yeah, that's great. I've been in the industry basically in sales or sales management for over 35 years. You can tell by my wrinkles. So I've been in the industry for a long time. I've been with McArthur Homes for about 14 years and started out in sales and moved into management about 7 years ago or so. McArthur Homes, we're a local kind of family-owned business, if you will. We do build homes and townhomes across the Wasatch Front, which is from Utah County to Weber County in the Salt Lake area. We typically build about 130 to 220 homes a year, and we're a production builder. So, it's our plans. We're not a custom builder, a semi-custom builder. We have set options, design studio, that sort of thing.
Yep.
That's kind of a little bit of background on McArthur.
Do you do your own land development too?
We do if necessary. Yeah, we do a little bit of both. We buy finished lots and buy raw land. So.
Yep. Okay. I didn't realize that you started in sales with McArthur.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So you did what I did, and which the Army won't do, is where they promote an enlisted man to be an officer. Because the other salespeople go like, I know this guy. What is he doing? He's my boss now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I had that happen to me too, and yeah, that's not an easy transition, but it sounds like it's well for you.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, well, very good. So Paige, tell us a little bit about your personal background and more your role with the company.
So I'm an online sales counselor, and I've been with McArthur for 10 years. And that's when I started in real estate, was with McArthur 10 years ago. I actually bought a McArthur home and liked the experience so much that I wanted to work for them.
So did you start right away as an online concierge, or did you start as working on model home and then move into this role?
Nope, I just started straight off as an OSC.
As an OSC. Okay. So there is a little bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? A complex issue out there as relates to OSCs, because you hear some builders that say that they should only be in the office and working where they're around the other team. And then you hear other OSCs that will say, no, I can work anywhere. I can work remotely, that sort of thing. So how do you handle your work environment?
I can work anywhere. I'm good to work with models. I can work at home anywhere.
Okay. And do you typically come into the office Monday through Friday?
No, a couple days a week.
Couple days a week. Okay. You're in there. Okay. So you come in for meetings and that sort of thing.
Yeah. And then I'll fill in at models if needed.
Okay. And there's also, I would say a sales team that is working with in a sales concierge. Oftentimes there's, at least at first, there's a little bit of a rub where they feel like, oh, I'm competing against you. And, they don't really maybe utilize your, but how do you, work with your sales team, and how often are you in, communication with them, whether in person or on the phone?
Actually, we have a really good sales team. Like, we all work, I probably talk to them at least 2 or 3 times a week, each community.
Great.
And I never felt any backlash or anything from it. They're all
Yeah.
great.
Okay. Well, that's good. Yeah. I mean, I think if you set it up right, it's great. The challenge is sometimes if you first come in, maybe you remember this when you first come in and all of a sudden people are like, well, wait a minute, you're going to talk to my leads before I talk to them. And right? But once they get it, usually.
Mm-hmm.
I think they view her as an asset.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I bet if you look at your conversions, if you have already pre-qualified a lead and then they talk to them, they probably have a higher conversion rate to move those people into a sale than if they were to walk in off the street to their model home.
For sure.
Yeah. Good. Well, let's into it a little bit more. So, Jeff, I want to go back to you. You mentioned you guys are doing between 130 to 220 homes per year. You're doing production building. So you've obviously got your operations very streamlined. People are, I like to use the analogy of you walk into a restaurant and you're ordering off the menu and you don't deviate from the menu unless the restaurant allows you to do that. So that's the definition of production builders. But tell us a little bit about your local market, some of the areas that you guys try to, let's say, some niche opportunities you go after, and how you've worked together with Paige, and generating more and more leads online to get them to your physical, communities.
Yeah. So there was a couple of questions in there. As far as where we're positioned in the market, we have typically been an entry level or first time move up. We that market. Mm-hmm. However, we have been a little bit opportunistic and deviated from that a little bit. We're in a single family neighborhood right now that's a little higher end than we typically would have in the past. And our market in general is very competitive. Yeah. We typically, when I started in this industry, it was very small, locally owned builders. There's maybe one national builder in the market. They would come and go. There would be national or regional builders come to the market and fail and leave. And now the environment is entirely different. There's a ton of nationals, and it's made our market very, very competitive. I think that's because the nationals could finally see that they could get the volume out of our market that made sense. And I think they're accepted, but they are competitive because they have to meet their quarterly, annual.
Yeah. It's a tough beast because you're really, instead of just looking at selling homes based on market conditions, you're oftentimes up against earnings calls,
Exactly.
And it's like, oh, they're doing a promotion because they got to do an earnings call here in, whatever, 30, 60 days. And they're trying to move some stuff off the books.
Exactly.
That. But you also have some really good local and pretty good sized local builders too. Is Destiny Homes, is that one of the larger?
Destination, Ivory Homes is a local.
Ivory, that's a big one too.
And and then we've had a lot of the builders be gobbled up by Japanese companies.
Interesting. So like private equity type Japanese companies?
Yeah. Yep.
Really?
I mean, it's within our market.
Oh, wow. Well, everything goes to crap once private equity touches it. So
I know they don't care about quality or anything else. They just care about the bottom line.
Yeah, much so. So since you are in the thick of it and you're targeting obviously that first time home buyer, first time move up, how do you guys try to differentiate yourselves to attract, your type of buyer?
A little bit with product, and we're surprisingly so not having the volume, a higher volume, but we build a very efficient home. So I say our value is far better, what you get for your money than most of our competitors. That's not always the case.
Okay.
So a little bit of product, we're a little bit innovative in the product and in our operations, so we're able to keep our costs low.
And you say innovative in your product, are you referring to more like architectural design or product
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, it's not a level first time move up, so it doesn't have the wow factor of things like roof decks and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. It's just a very efficient architectural design.
Sure. Okay. And I guess I just thought of something I think would be good to share. So price points, what would be like an entry level price point for your townhomes, and what would be a high end single family?
Yeah, our townhomes range from about 330 to about 420 in that range. So entry, very bottom end is 330.
Isn't that crazy? You've been in this business a long time to think that 330 is bottom end. I remember I had a townhome project that 99,000 was the was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1-car garage, 99,000.
Exactly. Our single family homes are, roughly 480. Our time move up single families are 480 to 600. And I mentioned to you that we had deviated and we're opportunistic about doing a little higher end neighborhood. That's in the 8 to 1.2 million.
Oh, wow. You made a pretty big leap there.
Yeah.
Going so far.
Phenomenal. It's our best neighborhood.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
It even has a wait list.
Yeah.
No doubt. Wow.
We've been raising price in this market, which is kind of unheard of. But I think the entry level buyers are far more affected by inflation and high rates. And
for sure.
Yeah.
And so I shouldn't say historically, but I'm going to say in the last decade, Utah there's a huge amount of in-migration, especially out of California. Now, I think in the last couple of years, that slowed a bit, but you still have a net in-migration coming into so it's still a very competitive marketplace.
It is. Yeah. And we're one of the more expensive markets relative to incomes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's a good point too that you make in that you try something new, you stepped into a new price point and all of a sudden you have a huge demand for it. Is that when you are in that entry level market or first time move up, we're always so price fixed as builders. And all of a sudden we figure out it's like, the niche, the opportunity in the marketplace is not in the low point, is actually up here because everybody is going after this low point and there's so much supply as relates to demand. If I'm up a couple notches, there's not as much supply and now I can meet that market.
That is absolutely true. And there's a lot more inventory in that bottom right now than there is in a couple steps up.
Okay. All right, great. Paige, I want to switch over to you a little bit because we started, how long have you been working on this? It's been a little over a year, I think, right? Was it like February, March 2025? So you were the online concierge, you were in place. We came in and obviously we went through the build phase, built the website, put in all the lead magnets, that sort of thing, got you set up as the online concierge. And I know you guys have been working of ratcheting up your website traffic and opportunities since then, but talk a little bit about how the learning for you and how you've engaged with that and what's different today versus what it was maybe a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely needed. We're having a problem with getting conversions. And so it was a lot of work, I'm not going to lie, like building it up and getting it going and getting everyone on board. But the outcome has been amazing. Like it's
okay. So let's get into some specifics. So give us some averages here, because I know I'm gonna hold you to it, but on average, how many leads per month are you typically generating just off your website?
I'll give you the answer to that, unless you want to, Paige.
I'm going to say 100. What are you going to say?
Yeah, actually, I ran some numbers, and in all of 2025, we were averaging 42 leads a month. And as you know, Rick, we were in the build phase. There's 3 phases that we go through to get, where we are today. And in the first 5 months of 2026, we're at 60 per month. So we've seen a 30% increase
in leads. Okay. Year over year in leads. Okay.
Yeah.
And of those leads, so you're averaging roughly about 60 a month right now. On average, how many phone appointments or phone conversations? Because your role is you get the lead. Yes, we have the automation set up. And actually, one thing we should clarify before I go there is that, it's like, so we promote ourselves as like your perfect sales assistant, where we're sort of building an AI page, if you will. But what we're also finding out, of course, is that there's 2 things happening. One is as we move into the age of AI, I told someone the other day, I said, it's like you're sticking your foot in the pool and you're trying to feel the bottom because you're trying to figure out like, what is the true capabilities of AI, and also what is the tolerance for a human and how much AI that they will tolerate before they want to talk to an actual human. So how do you work with that, Paige? Like where you get the lead and then maybe it's a web chat or they go into a booking campaign. Where do you come in? Like where do you interject yourself and try to get that conversation going?
If it's a chat lead and I have to intervene, then I just intervene when they get frustrated with the bot and kind of tell. So then I'll jump in and just make it more personable. If it's a call that's been scheduled, then it's community specific. And so I just get being personable because that's how I would want someone to be with me.
Yeah.
And then I do all the qualifying questions, price, like their timeline. And then if they seem interested after I've gone through all those, then I set the appointment to meet in person at one of our model homes.
So that's interesting, though. I want to back up a second. So you see a chat lead, because you're the online concierge, so you're monitoring this. So you see a chat lead engage. So you just watch the AI, and if the AI is handling it okay, you just let it go. But then if the AI is not, or the person's getting frustrated, then you jump in.
Yep, sometimes.
Okay, interesting. So with that then, so if AI is handling it and the person goes in and the AI ends up booking the appointment for you, you just like stay hands off and then just talk to them at the scheduled time?
Or if the AI tells them that I'm going to send them some information, then I go through and I read everything and then I send them what they're asking.
I see. Okay.
Prepare for the call.
Yes, right. Okay, so there's some send ahead stuff that you'll do prior to the call. And what's your show rate on those?
They're pretty good. I mean, I would say pretty close to 100%.
Really? Wow. Yeah. Okay. And just to clarify, everyone that's listening, is that once it gets booked, then there's a reminder campaign. And one of the things that we've done probably for you guys within the last 6 months is that we do try to have some just real soft conversational text messaging, go back and forth, just trying to do some pre-qualification. So, and you can gather as much information as possible prior to that conversation. So then when you have that conversation, what percent of those, I guess, are on average qualified that you then set up a site visit where they're going to go to the community and meet with the salesperson?
I would say at least 70%, 70 or 80.
70 to 80 qualified, and you'll actually move. That's huge.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
That's huge. And so is it more of a warm call then for you when you're talking to them because you've got enough information between the conversations and stuff?
Yeah. And sometimes I'll get calls that are scheduled that I can tell that it's not going to work. So then we just cancel it.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Don't waste my time, sort of thing. Yeah. Okay. So of the different lead magnets that you're using, the way people are engaging you, do you find that one of them tends to yield a higher quality lead than others?
The schedule the tour for sure. And then the chat bot actually does a good job. Interesting.
Really? That's interesting. Okay. Yeah. And then you guys are using a new as well, I think, where they can come in and they can design your stuff. How, are a lot of your leads utilizing that tool either prior to talking to you or after?
Usually after. If they've already been to the model and they want to go a little farther, then they'll do that.
Yeah. So a new go allows you to go in and sort of pick a floor plan, put it on a lot, customize it with either plan options or colors and selections and things to sort of like build your home virtually, right?
Yeah, like a structural, no design, but structural and color schemes.
Okay. So going back into your process again, on what do you typically spend for time, on that initial qualification call? And I guess, and the follow-up to that is, what do you find are the most important things to ask to qualify for before you set the on-site visit?
So the most important, usually is price. Is it within their budget? And then timeline, and then what they're looking for. Like, do we even offer it square footage wise? Or if they want a basement in a community that we don't offer basements, then it'll go. But the calls can range anywhere from 5 to I've had them go 30 minutes. Okay, so 30 is on the high end. But I was just talking to somebody else before this, and they said, yeah, probably about 10 minutes for most of the calls. So it's a quick call. And so 70 to 80% of those calls, you will then move to a meeting with the salespeople. Yep. Okay. So I'm always interested in the turnover as well. So once you book that meeting for the salesperson, what does that process look like? Do you have the salesperson like call them before time to do the introduction, or do they just meet them for the first time on site? So we have some automated. So once I put it into their name, it'll send a text message introducing themselves as I'm your new point of contact. If you have any questions, I look forward to meeting you, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And once they meet with them, then they become the model home sales.
So they're typically not talking to the on-site salesperson prior to that first face-to-face meeting.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. And how's your show rate there? I mean, for getting them from your call to the model.
So almost 100%.
Wow, that's just amazing. That's so great to hear. The reason I bring that up is because I think we get too hung up on the high numbers. And what I mean by that is like, oh, well, if you're generating 60 leads a month, Jeff, you should be generating 160 leads a month. But it's like nobody thinks about the conversions. It's like if I generate 160 leads a month and I don't talk to any of them, what's the point of generating 160 a month? You know?
Right.
So you want to have high, and then obviously qualified too. So, I mean, your numbers are phenomenal. Jeff, from your perspective, from the time, before you started with us, the time you got launched, what does that look like from your end too?
From my end, I will tell you that I think Paige does the bulk of the work. We've got most of it on her shoulders. I think in the initial stages, the onboarding was a lot of work for both of us, and difficult, but 100% worth it. One of the things that we do struggle with is getting our sales team to use the CRM religiously.
Yep.
I know you're surprised to hear that about salespeople.
Never heard that one before. That's brand new.
They usually love CRMs and doing, some of them take to it a lot better than others, but in general, it was incredible. I can't say strongly enough that it's been worth the effort to get to where we are. And now it runs smoothly. Yeah.
As I do my other sales managers and I have calls with them when we look at adoption by salespeople, I said, hey, it's job security.
Yeah.
Every month, same. Oh, yep. So-and-so not doing their things again. And it seems like every sales team, and by the way, how many salespeople do you have at your, it's not huge, but you always find that there's usually like a super user, right? There's somebody that's like really good. And you kind of like try to point to them. It's like, well, be more like this person. Why can't you do it like them? And then there's the people that it's just like, it's pulling teeth to try to get them. But the challenge is, of course, Jeff, from a sales manager is like, cannot manage what I don't measure. So if I can't see what the follow-up is happening. So I do have some clients that they'll say, hey, if I can't, it's not using the system and I do not know if they're following up, I will actually stop giving them as many leads. And I'll give more leads to others. Now, I know you guys have communities and things, but how do you handle that when you have a salesperson that's not adopting or not doing what they're supposed to do?
Well, that's a question. I love to have the monthly KPI reports, and it shows exactly, at a high level, how each salesperson is doing. And I share those KPIs with them.
That's good.
And I talk about it in sales meeting. And then I know Paige works closely with them and reinforces that and encourages them to move from one stage to another and follow up and that sort of thing. So it's kind of a team effort.
So would you be considered the super user, Paige, of your sales?
100%. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And do you have like one or two of the people that are on site that are pretty good and then two or three more that are maybe stragglers that you're always trying to nudge them?
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely. There's a couple that are very, very good. And there's one particular that's at the very bottom. Should we call them out by name?
I know. I know who they are.
If you're listening, you know who you are. Yeah, exactly. But it's interesting. There's always like the people that just don't want to adopt. But I look at this as like, once I figure out that like Paige is my best friend, when I get a lead from Paige, there's a very high chance I'm going to convert that into a sale. It's also like once you just start using the app, like I had a training session, literally, I think it was on Tuesday this week. It was just a couple days ago. And I was going through that same thing, those and tracked follow-up. And I just asked questions, Jeff, you can appreciate this. I said, hey team, if you send an email through your Outlook and not through the app, are we going to track, count that as follow-up?
Right.
No. I said, if you make a phone call through your cell phone and not through the app. Do we track that as follow-up? No. To which the sales manager says, oh, and by the way, if you do use the app, you can now listen to the conversation for your. And I said, yeah, good point. And then the third question, I said, well, if you send a text message through your phone and not through the app, does it get counted? No. And I said, okay, you're picking up your phone. You are opening it to make a call or a phone message. All you have to do is tap on the app to make it versus there, and all your notes and everything else. It's like,
It's so easy.
Pulling your hair out. It's like, why? So it's like, yeah, once they start to use it and they see some successes, it seems like, oh yeah, this is not that hard, and I do get a lot of benefit because everything's in one spot. But I know that's the ongoing challenge.
Yeah, I kind of debate between the carrot and the stick. And
exactly right.
Yeah,
exactly right. Yeah, exactly right. Well, let's a little bit more. So we talked about that adoption, but as you guys now you have a pipeline build, what's your current backlog right now? You said you got a waiting list in one of your projects, but what's your current production backlog?
meaning what we have under contract.
Yeah, for your pipeline.
Good question. We at one of our, it's probably not that high. We probably have about 40, I would say, that are under contract, not closed.
Okay.
However, at one of our neighborhoods, we are selling only specs, so inventory homes. So those close pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then the other two neighborhoods, we're doing pre-starts and.
So for let's a little bit about realtors. So what percentage of your that 220 of homes are typically have a broker involved?
It's high. It's about 78%, right in that range right now.
Oh wow. Okay. So of the homes that you're building each year, is that comparable to that amount of specs you build, right around spec? And
well, no, we're probably more like 40-50% spec.
Yeah. But if you're building a lot of townhomes, you're typically selling a shell anyway, right? You're sort of forced into this inventory.
Our townhomes, we're producing a lot, and those are almost all specs.
Yep. Okay. So Paige, how does that work with realtors? Do they through you, or do they go directly to the community sales manager or salesperson?
It kind of depends. If they find us through the MLS, they'll usually go straight to the on-site agent. But if they find us through the website, then they come to me. Is how it usually works.
And do you follow the same process where you're having a conversation with them first, or do you just push them right over to the?
Oh no, I have a conversation with them.
You do. So you qualify them just like you would. Anyone else. And do you have an active realtor outreach program as well, just for that, or do you?
No, we've done things in the past, and the sales team individually, make contact with agents, but we don't have a strong realtor outreach program. We go back and forth on that.
I would argue, though, you're a little bit heavy on your co-op rates. There's probably not any reason to. I mean, if you were down around 25%, you probably would be talking a different story.
Exactly.
78% is pretty high for a single family, especially.
It is pretty typical in this market. I mean, our owners are part of President's Group, where they meet with 10 or 12 of the other bigger builders in the area, and it's pretty typical to see 75 to 80%.
So it's your market more than anything else. A lot of realtor participation in your market. Is that due to a lot of the in-migration where people are coming from out of town and they're using relocation packages and that sort of thing?
In part, yes.
It is. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just interesting because you go across the country and you have some markets where realtors are involved in everything. And then you go to other parts of the country and it's like almost all direct sales. Like if you have a 25% co-op rate. So I guess but yeah, I could see you and owners going like, oh, sure would be nice to be at 50%,
Exactly.
versus 78. I would love that to get there. Well, that's something to work towards. You guys talked a little bit about onboarding process. So again, we're going to go back to the build phase. You're in the growth phase right now, but going through that onboarding process, you had a lot of moving parts. We created some custom things for you. getting launched and then getting to the attract phase. So I guess, Paige, I'm going to go back to you. Where did the light bulb like start to click, or I should say flicker, where you started going like, oh, okay, this is working now, I'm getting the results? What stage was that approximately?
I would say probably about 3 or 4 months in, when I could see all the campaigns rolling out and how it was. I mean, it was leading to more appointments, more sales.
Yeah. Okay. And are you doing consistent with your events, doing a quarterly event at your one or multiple communities?
I mean, it depends. We have new models or when we have realtor events. There's no specific timeline that we do them.
Okay. All right. When you do an event, how's your attendance? What's your typical, what do you get like for realtors and or, leads?
It depends on the location. We just did one last weekend that was amazing turnout.
Oh, really? Was it for realtors or leads?
It was for all of them, for everybody.
Oh, invited everybody. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. So what amazing turnout look like for you guys?
100 plus people?
No way.
Yeah.
Over 100?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's the best I've heard in a long time. Wow. So what was the event? What was the project, the offer?
I think typically our events we probably get 25 to 50.
Mm-hmm.
And this is that higher end neighborhood that we've been talking about. So the demand is higher. It's in an infill location. So I think it's easier to, see an invite and say, oh, on the way to the grocery store, let's stop by.
Sure.
Whereas with the two neighborhoods where we've done events, the attendance is lower, but they're more on the outer edges of the market.
Okay. Typical new construction areas where there's
more typical. So I think that our location and being infill helped, along with our model, more exciting to see.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so just for everyone listening, an event is typically it's a one-time thing, one day or maybe a weekend. It's a location, it's a new model, a new spec, maybe a realtor event. And for promotional purposes, we're pretty much just going back to the database and we're just sending out invites via email, text message. We create a video promotional. And you guys, so you had over 100 attendees.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
great. Amazing. So how many, and from an do you remember the difference between how many people RSVP'd versus how many people showed?
I mean, the RSVP or the rate was pretty low. I think I had one RSVP. Everyone else just came.
It just came. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You just came to the event. So you were just, you gave the address and just push it out there. Yeah. But that's as far as the event. Where do you see, what's like the best technique, Paige, that you maybe getting a conversation started with somebody who's a little bit more reluctant? Like, how do you engage them and try to create some curiosity where they want to talk more?
I'll usually shoot them a text just to see if they're even still looking. And then I'll ask them if they have any questions. And then if they come back, then I'll try to go a little deeper.
Okay. So the good old organic text message out of the blue, sort of like, hey, what's going on? That sort of thing.
Yeah. Just checking in kind of things.
And as far as responses, I want to look at, is there any difference? Like when you guys have very high co-op rates, I guess I want to talk about realtors, but when you're engaging with a realtor versus when you're engaging with a lead, do you change your technique much as far as like the realtors respond better to certain things versus a lead or vice versa?
I mean, realtors seem to be a little bit more educated on the process, so I don't go so much into that. Whereas a buyer that doesn't know the process, I go a little deeper with them.
So do you typically talk about the process on your phone call when you're going through the qualification process?
Yeah, sometimes if they ask me, like the construction deposits and timelines and all kinds of stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. And then the salespeople. So when our majority of your leads, so the 60 website leads, what would you be getting, like say from just walk-in traffic from the model home during a month? What would you average?
Probably average. Well, it's fluctuated with walk-in traffic with the economy. I mean, our first quarter was phenomenal. We probably had 10 to 12 per neighborhood per week.
Per week, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's dropped significantly. We're probably getting 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do the website leads convert better or worse than the walk-in traffic?
That's a good question that I don't know that I have an answer to. Do you, Paige, know that?
I mean, I feel like mine convert pretty good, but I don't know about theirs.
Yeah, I would, as a percentage, yeah, I would say yours are higher, but I don't know the percentage. I think on an online lead report, we could see that.
Because you look at the journey of the lead, and you, I guess, would just assume since they're coming on the website, they've done their due diligence, and now they're narrowing it down, and they're making contact with them. That would be a higher lead than somebody who's just driving by and going, "Oh, let's stop in the model and take a look at this."
But I would say that I don't know the percentage, but I would say even the walk-in traffic, a pretty high percentage of them have come to our website.
Yes.
They haven't filled out a form, so they're kind of familiar with us as well, but they haven't had a conversation with Paige and engaged with us. And so I would think that our conversion rate is higher if they spend that time up front.
Absolutely.
Engage with Paige.
Are the on-site salespeople asking that question? Have you visited our website?
I don't so. I've asked them to in the past, and then I
yes, sure. I mean, it's always
reinforcing that. Yeah.
But yeah, we used to ask that all the time and say, "Oh, have you visited our website?" Yeah, we have. It's like, "Oh, so it's like you've been here before." Yeah. What would you like to explore today? And you can kind of dive right in that way. Okay, so going forward, as you guys now are, again, we're about a year and a half into it, not quite, but what do you plan to try, as you make continued improvements and refining and growth and that sort of thing? What's on the radar for you guys?
We're right now on two, and we're just I'll back. Right now, we're focused on refining some messaging on the website to improve lead conversion. And then we're going to start focusing on middle funnel and, kind of assess, okay, in our, once we have a lead, how are we communicating with them best? We're going to review all the communications that go out automatically. And just do tuning.
Yep. And one of the things I know that we're working towards as well is when you get somebody into that long-term nurturing is integrating an AI bot that does exactly what Paige is doing, that will track engagement and look at somebody who is engaging, whether it's opening an email or clicking on a link to come back and, as part of your nurturing program, visiting the website again, and then using that engagement scoring to have the bot reach out to them just like Paige would.
Great.
And say, "Hey, where are you at right now? Would you, we've got some new opportunities. Would you like to hear about them? That sort of thing," and try to flame that maybe has gone cold, sort of thing. So I think that's real, which is interesting because, again, it comes back to conversions, right? It's like do more with what you already have versus trying to go out and, build a bunch of new advertising campaigns, to something, which is very, very expensive. Oftentimes doesn't yield the results you're looking for.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Paige, how about you? As you now are settling into this role and you're kind of getting things down, but what do you see, as far as in the future, like things that you want to do a little bit differently or try to refine your process?
So mine would probably be the AI, to just get it to teach it what it needs to know.
Working on that prompt.
Yeah, because it's still learning, and so it's a work in progress.
Yeah, and I think that's a thing is that like biz AI, what I have found, it says it's like people. It's like you have to continue to adjust and teach and change the prompt and refine, and what I found is like if you can get it to 90-95% accurate, it's about as good as you're going to get. But it's like a salesperson that you do have to you still manage them. You got to look at what they're saying or not doing, and continue to provide that feedback. And maybe someday it'll get to the point where it's 99%, but we're there yet. So I think that's a good point, is that as we look at what is the capabilities of AI versus what is the human tolerance of AI, is obviously the better we can get the capabilities of AI, the more we can improvement, the tolerance will also improve a little bit. But it's also important to know is that, yeah, everybody has their limit. It's like, I don't want to talk to the bot anymore. I want to talk to a real person. And it's like, you not do everything for you. It's not a replacement. It's an enhancement, to what you're doing.
Here's a question. Does the AI have a personality at all? Do you know?
You can change the personalities. Yeah. So part of the prompt is you can make somebody more bubbly or professional or more like engineer type dry. Just give me the answer versus somebody who's, very conversational and kind of chit chatty. But yeah, you can. So that's one nice thing about it is that you can look at who's your target market, your demographic. To, if you're selling to engineers, you're very cut and dry, and if you're selling to younger people, especially women, you might be a little more chit chatty and flowery.
Yeah. Interesting.
It is interesting, and it changes daily as well. Okay, so last thing I think I want to hit on here, Jeff, is you mentioned it already, KPI report, but every month we try to summarize everything that we're doing and put it into one report. So you're the sales manager, and obviously you're reporting to your ownership group and your upper management. How are you utilizing that report, not only to manage salespeople, but also looking at initiatives and, trying to look into your crystal balls, like what you should be doing, 3-6 months from now based on today's numbers?
Yeah. So we look at it obviously monthly, and we kind of have a separate spreadsheet that we track the entire funnel with. And so I'm constantly looking at, okay, we have new users, here's the number of leads that we have. And I share this with the owners as well. It goes through the whole funnel down through the sales numbers. And it's pretty easy to identify, okay, we're not getting the conversions that we were getting. Why is that? Mm-hmm. What changes can we make to increase our conversions to, from website traffic to lead? And that's kind of what has spawned what you asked me before is what am I focused on now? And very top of funnel to get those lead conversions, what can we do? And we're going to change some messaging with that. And then the middle funnel, once we have a lead, let's improve that. I don't think there's a big gap there. I think it's right now, getting that lead. And I think what happened is, with the economy, the war occurred. We saw a drop off in leads in April. Mm. I think that coincided with the war. Prices started to go up, rates went up. I think the confidence of that entry level buyer has dropped.
Pump the brakes, yeah.
Pump the brakes. So we want to change our messaging on the website to engage them more, try to get them more engaged, and hopefully converted.
Are you doing much with video right now?
Not nearly enough.
Because that would be one area I would tell you to explore is so when you get to a lead magnet on your website, when you talk about messaging, you can actually convert that into a video. And so one of the things that we've done with a lead magnet is that when you put a video next to the form, there's always the risk of, what if I fill out this form? So in e-commerce language, they call that an abandoned cart. It's where I start to fill out the form, but I don't submit. So you can create a video and put it next to it, and you can show them what they're going to get after they opt in. So you're reducing the risk there for them to help improve the conversion. So I would definitely look at that, is using videos for your lead magnets. And, we can, even for a NuGo, which you're using for one of your lead magnets, we could create a video for that. And then the other thing you could look at, if you're looking at that middle funnel conversion, you could actually do some videos there as well. Now, videos become so powerful because of social media and the rise of short form video, whether it's TikTok or Meta or YouTube Shorts. Being able to compress information into an 11 to 60 second video allows someone to keep someone's attention, and you can convey that message that you're after.
I think that's a great idea. I'd love that.
Yep. So I would, and we can do it in your nurturing program. You can do it in your booking campaigns. You can do it on your appointment reminders. So you identify where you think you're falling up short in that conversion as part of your funnel. And then that's where you can incorporate video And like I said, short form video, 11 to 60 seconds. They're quick videos, but they can make all the difference in the world.
Oh, I'd love to explore that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you know that would do that. But and try that on the website as well. Just navigation videos, just because we just want to engage people and get them to where they want to go with and reduce that frustration. So, like a homepage video pushes them to, I want to see floor plans or I want to see locations. This is where you go. Just make a nice, real clear video. And you can embed them all on, YouTube off-site so that it's not slowing down the performance of the website. It won't your page speeds or anything like that. It's pretty.
That's great. That's great. Yeah.
So, Paige, anything else that you want to add that we didn't talk about already as far as your experience or your role?
Nope, not that I can think of.
Yeah, you're always a woman very.
That's true.
You get right to the point, Paige. We're going to go right to the point. Well, that's a good online concierge, is that you know what your job is and you do it very well.
Thank you.
Jeff, same question for you. Any for you on your experience or anything else for McArthur Homes?
Just that I want to thank you for what you do, because we really have seen dramatic results. I think I mentioned that our lead capture rate has improved by 30%, and our on-site visits has gone up 52%, and our sales have gone up 24%. And those are numbers. I compared apples to apples, pulled out a neighborhood that wasn't selling during that time, took the first 5 months of 2025, which I think is we're still in the build phase. Mm-hmm. And then the first 5 months of this year, and we're up 24%.
Wow.
So, yeah, I think it's you guys and you and your team have done for us.
No, thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's a partnership, right? We can't do it for you, and you do it for us. So I'm glad you're getting some great results there. It's very, very. And we met at it was a Builder 20 group.
Yeah. So you met one of the owners at
Builder
20 back east, and he came back and said, "This guy knows what he's talking about. Let's talk to him."
Fooled him.
Yeah. Good job.
Well, fantastic. Well, Jeff and Paige, if anyone wants to learn more about McArthur Homes, where would they go?
McArthurHomes.com.
McArthurHomes.com. Yeah, there you go.
Sophie the bot.
Yeah. What's name? Is it Sylvia?
It's Sophie.
Sophie. Okay, go talk with Sophie and see if you can get her frustrated. Paige will jump in. You'll get to meet her. But McArthurHomes.com. You guys are in the Wasatch Front. Thank you so much for your time and for your sharing it with here on Conversations That Convert. And for my brothers and sisters in Christ, may the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you all always. See you guys next time on Conversations.